We sat in the hot tub enjoying the warm August night. My wife, Elaine, was sitting next to me. Sitting opposite Elaine was her mother, Lydia. While Elaine wore a sexy bikini, Lydia wore a conservative one-piece swimsuit. Elaine had already had a few drinks. I don't drink much, so I had my first glass of wine. Lydia needed to work, so she abstained. Elaine and Lydia are almost identical in body size. From across the room, they could have been mistaken for twins. Once you get closer, you can see Lydia's maturity. Lydia's nose, chin, and fingers are a little more defined. Our Friday routine consisted of watching a movie and then soaking in a hot bath. We just watched a film about a woman who finds love after 50. My mother-in-law is 45 years old. She gave birth to Elaine when she was 16. They remind me more of sisters than mother and daughter. Elaine constantly butts heads with Lydia. They can argue about the most pointless things. I was listening to Elaine and Lydia discussing the merits of the film when the conversation got very interesting. "What about you, Mom? Do you think you'll ever get married again?" "I don't know. I'm in love. But I don't know what the future holds for me." "What? Wait. Are you in love? In whom? How? I haven't seen you on a date in years." "He is married." "Have you gotten involved with a married man?" "I won't believe it at all. Miss Kill the Cheaters has a married lover." "I'm not going to get involved with a married man. I'm in love with a married man. He doesn't know this." "It's just surreal, Mom. What are you, some kind of stalker? Who is this?" "No, I'm not a stalker, and it's none of your business. My name is John, and I just celebrated my 35th birthday. Elaine is 6 years younger than me. I worked on oil rigs overseas for 10 years. I technically met Elaine when she was 22. She worked in accounting, and we exchanged emails with her. If you can flirt through work emails, we've done it. I actually didn't know what she looked like until I came back. The work brought financial rewards, but the lifestyle was not conducive to starting a family. I quit this business when I turned 30. I spent several weeks at the Department of the Interior in Houston, and eventually met Elaine. I was moving on to a new career, and Elaine was handling my paperwork. Once we started working at different companies, we started dating. I've never had a serious relationship. Elaine was very serious about her high school sweetheart, but their paths diverged in college. She's a pretty woman, but not a runway model. I got a little gray for my age working in harsh conditions. Despite appearances, there seemed to be some kind of chemistry between us. I don't know what a typical romance should look like, but we dated for several months. It's hard to pinpoint why it took us so long to have sex, but after about 10 dates over 3 months, we did it. We were on a picnic and probably had a little too much. It probably helped that the couple nearby were kissing with renewed vigor. When we returned to my house, we had sex. Elaine was a very passive lover. Since I had not been with a woman for a long time, I quickly reached the peak, then helped Elaine reach sweet peaks. 10 days later, we repeated this performance. She remained a sluggish, passive recipient of my efforts. Although we continually increased the frequency of sex, the ritual rarely changed. I tried to introduce new positions, but the standard missionary style was what she wanted. I'm not complaining. We had sex several times a week. A date was soon set, and 2 years ago, 10 months after the ceremony, Elaine gave birth to twin girls. Shortly before I started dating Elaine, I bought a house on a small lake. It was in a good area, about 20 minutes from my office. Elaine moved in with me when we got married and returned to work about 2 months after the girls were born. Lydia works as a medical device assembler. She usually works from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. She has been living with us for the last 2 years and helps Elaine with the girls. She's a really nice lady. It's a pity that she didn't find someone with whom she could share her love. I didn't mind that her mother lived with us, but Elaine felt awkward. We weren't throwing sex parties for adults. At most, we invited a couple of friends over for steak from time to time. I couldn't understand her doubts. Lydia was an invaluable addition to our home. She is more than willing to babysit the girls. She thinks she has to pay rent, so she cleans and does laundry. Just a few weeks ago, we lent Lydia $800. She said the money was needed for a down payment, but didn't tell us what. Elaine and I talked about it before deciding. There is a big difference in lending money to a brother who lives 2,000 miles away compared to a mother living under the same roof. When I gave her the money, she said she would pay $200 a month. While we were drying ourselves with a towel, the heated discussion continued. What does he look like? Who? Your lover? None of your business. Where does he work? Where did you meet him? None of your business. I'm not going to give away the details. So he lives at the North Pole, and I see him every Christmas. Understood? Lydia went downstairs to get ready for work, and I helped Elaine clean up. Today's discussion had a side benefit for me. It was one of the best love sessions we had enjoyed in quite a long time. What's got you so excited today? Just the thought of Mom and her lover. I don't know. I forgot that she is a woman. She's a mom. If I understand correctly, she was not with him. So technically, he is not a lover yet. Yeah, I guess, but I still find it fascinating. Our sex life before marriage was predictable, as was our family routine. Elaine became pregnant almost immediately after we got married. Then came the twins, then her mother, and then our work. These are all excuses, but we have not yet found that zone of comfort and pleasure from exercise in the bedroom. The conversation continued after dinner on Saturday night. Mom, why are you sitting and waiting for your lover? Why not keep searching until you find a free man? I wish it were that simple. When you're in love, it's hard to think about anyone else. How long are you willing to wait? Actually, I think I have a chance. It seems to me that his wife is cheating on him. If he kicks her out, I'm going to fluff his pillows before the smell of her shampoo wears off. Mother! What? I didn't even suspect that you could be like this. You really want him, don't you? You act like you've never been in love. Mom, have you forgotten the father of your grandchildren? Well, then you probably know how I feel. Let's say his wife cheats. What should he do with her? The choice is endless. Poison her, strangle in a dream, accidental overdose. If she passes out in the bath, she might drown. Gunplay is too messy, but a good shot, on a random late-night drive. Maybe I can find a way to get him poison. Put it in her drink. I still have the gun case in my basement. I think some of the ways can be made to look like an accident. This is the mother I remember, Miss Kill the Cheaters. Lydia once tried to get married. Intrigued by our story? Like and subscribe to the channel, and you will be shocked by the ending of the story. I don't know all the details, but her ex asked the girl out while he was babysitting Elaine, who was 4 years old at the time. Furious, Lydia could not remember the number of the lock on the weapon case. In the time it took to find where she recorded it, her ex had enough time to escape. Lydia fired several shots at his driving away car. Nobody knows where he went. Whenever we watched a movie about adultery, Lydia would passionately argue that every cheater should be killed. For such a sweet lady, this was out. I went back to work and asked for a few days off. I popped into HR and started making changes. After speaking with a divorce lawyer, I did what I usually do. I opened new accounts, transferring my 50% to them. Elaine had her own credit cards. My lawyer told me to leave my health insurance as is, because I would still be responsible until we divorced. The lawyer began appraising my home. Let's move on to revenge. I have outlined a strategy. I'll take care of Rex first. I called Elaine every night around dinner. I didn't want to reveal myself ahead of time. After telling Elaine that the patio needed some work, I asked her to buy some art supplies from the hardware store. When I got home on Friday, I told Elaine that I had sat next to someone on the flight who had coughed up their lungs and was not feeling well. She seemed concerned about my well-being. I didn't buy it and didn't kiss her. As much as I wanted to give my girls big hugs and kisses, I had to stay in character. Elaine told Lydia that the Friday night movie and hot bath had been canceled because I had a cold. On Saturday morning, I told Elaine that I was feeling much better and we could go to a barbecue next door. I didn't notice anything inappropriate between Rex and Elaine that evening. If they said anything, it was just, hello. I apologized that I had to go away, quickly turned to my car, and went down to Rex's basement. Rex was a gambling man. Every Tuesday evening, he cleaned his guns. One of the things I asked Elaine to buy was a can of stripper paint. I was wearing latex gloves. The only fingerprints were Elaine's. I listed a specific brand that contains methylene chloride, which is banned in many countries, but not here. I emptied the mayonnaise jar Rex uses, filled it with paint, and placed the new jar on the far edge of the shelf. Since both liquids were colorless, Rex could only tell the difference by smell. Since Rex was puffing on cigars while cleaning his weapon, he probably wouldn't notice anything. This could be a fatal mistake for him. If he stays in the room for more than a few minutes, he will feel dizzy and disoriented. The tin clearly states that this should not be used in an unventilated area. If Rex does not leave the room within 30 minutes, he may suffocate or suffer long-term heart or brain problems. I made it back to the backyard before they missed me. On Wednesday, it was the hazmat team that brought out the body bag. Cut down in his prime. What a disgrace. How difficult is it to read warning labels on a product? It doesn't seem right that a finished product could kill so easily. At the end of the 10 o'clock news, there was a detailed report exposing the dangers of this brand of paint. Returning from work, I pretended to be ignorant. It was obvious that Elaine was crying. Lydia continued to fuss over the girls. Dinner went smoothly. "What's bothering you, Elaine? You look worried." "John, did you hear that Rex was found dead? Do you already have a replacement?" "Replacement? What are you talking about?" "Replacing what?" "Don't worry, Elaine. You'll find someone else to do your debauchery." To say she was taken by surprise would be an understatement. What the hell does that mean?" "This means that you regularly cheated on me with Rex, and now that he's dead, you'll have to look for someone else." "You're crazy. I've never done anything like this. Hell, you might even be the last person to see him alive. Do you want to see photos or better videos?" From the side, I heard Lydia. "Can I see them?" "Mother? No! Sorry. It got out of control. Sorry. Let me explain." While Elaine begged for understanding, Lydia left the room and returned a few minutes later. Lydia beckoned to her daughter. "Elaine, here, drink this. Or maybe you want to lie down and rest. Perhaps a bath will do you some good." Elaine literally ran down the hallway and slammed the bedroom door. Lydia tried to open the door. "You can run, but you can't hide, Elaine." I collapsed on the sofa. Elaine opened the bedroom door, pushed Lydia away, grabbed her pussy, and ran out of the house. She took with her a small suitcase and a sports bag. She left the front door open, and I saw her sedan drive away. "John, could you come here for a minute?" I found Lydia in my bedroom fluffing the pillows. "John, all I ask is a fair chance when the time comes." She handed me a piece of paper. It was an invoice for a private investigator. It showed a paid advance of $800. She wrote, "John, I may need help paying off the balance." I kissed her very inappropriately for a mother-in-law. "You deserve more than a fair chance. I'll let you know when." It had been very quiet since Elaine had rushed out the door. Actually, I'm surprised we haven't heard anything about her. I thought her maternal instincts would kick in and she'd want to see the girls. But no. Lydia is more than capable of taking care of the twins. The ATM trail leads to the West Coast. She may think she's wasting my money, but she's wrong. My 50% was transferred before she fled. I commenced divorce proceedings, and she was served at her employer's office in Bakersfield. According to my lawyer, the longer she goes without contact, the harder it will be for her to get custody. At this point, she was facing an uphill battle for custody. You can't leave 2-year-old twins. In the morning, I hug and kiss Lydia goodbye, and the same when I return from work. I give her a big hug before she leaves for work. Now she uses cosmetics and perfume. She looks just as good in a bikini as Elaine does. My rage began to fade. I can tell it will take some time. One evening, Lydia and I were enjoying the silence. It was too cold outside for a hot bath. The girls were put to bed. "John, can I ask you a question? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer." "Fair enough, ask." "I watched the video. So this is how Elaine behaved with you?" "Not even close. Although I didn't watch the whole video. I tried to get her to try some of the things she did with Rex at the beginning of the video. With me, she was a very passive lover. I haven't tried almost anything I've seen. I thought that when I found love, I would like to try all this. I'm not interested in extra people in the bedroom, just me and my lover. Damn, this woman isn't playing fair. I asked Lydia if I could ask her out on a date on the day of the divorce. She agreed. I told her I had to stay true to my vows until I got my divorce. The last thing I want is for Lydia to think I'm a cheater. I think she understands. Elaine didn't resist. I will take care of the twins. With divorce nearing the finish line, I can hardly wait to start dating again. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one. Please like and subscribe to the channel and you will never be cheated on.